Welcome to Book Favourites. This time I'm going to recommend two novels by Jane Austen. And the two novels that I'm going to recommend to our Year 5 and Year 6 students are Pride and Prejudice and Emma. Both of them are very suitable for book reports and for your literary speaking exam. Now, Pride and Prejudice is probably her most famous work, probably one of the most famous English works of literature, and it's about two people who eventually fall in love. But before that, they have to overcome lots of misunderstandings because both Lizzie Bennet and Mr. Darcy are quite proud and also quite prejudiced as well. Now, Emma is a bit less known. It's about a woman who goes around playing Cupid. She's quite spoiled, quite bratty. She tries to hook people up together all the time, and of course, also eventually falls in love. So both of these books have are quite romantic at their cause. So if you're not really into romantic novels, you should probably not read these. But if you are, you should because they are quite iconic. You can also see that in all of these TV series and films that these two novels have been turned into. Perhaps you've already seen one or two of them. It's a good sign of how popular these books are. And usually books are popular for a reason. This time quite justified. So both novels take place in Regency era Britain, which is at the start of the 19th century, quite a short period of time. And the other thing that you should keep in mind as you're going to read these novels is that they focus on rich people. Yeah, so you've got yourself upper middle class, upper class people. There are some money issues, some worries about money, um, but mostly these people are quite well off, and you'll get to read about big houses and mansions, get to read about dances. You really really love is at the core of the novel. So struggles and poverty are not the focus. You don't have to expect any realistic depictions of lower class families in these books. It's really about the wealthy. Now, why should you read Pride and Prejudice and or Emma? And why should you not read, for instance, Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights instead? Well, of course, you can read Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. They're actually really good books as well. They're more dramatic though and a bit more complicated. And they were published later than Jane Austen's work as well. Jane Austen's works as well. So 1840s you're looking at now. Personally, I prefer Jane Austen because really her writing style is so much more enjoyable to read. She has a very witty style, so it's actually quite funny, very ironic, and very sharp. Her characters are very lovable. The plot is usually quite clear, very straightforward. What you see is what you get, and perhaps also a bit predictable. But I don't really mind that at all. And it's also very light-hearted, so it makes for a very easy read. But still, there's lots of symbolism, an interesting setting, a character development that you can talk about. So even though the books are quite simple, um, they are very enjoyable and they give you lots of materials to work with for your speaking exam. So you can't really go wrong with any one of these two books. So enjoy reading.